There is a saying: war does not have a woman's face. But women and young girls in 1941 volunteered for the front, fought the entire war side by side with men and were not inferior to them in fortitude and courage. Everyone knows the feat of Zoya Kosmodymianskaya. Many stories have been written about the guerrilla fighter. Streets in many cities of Russia are named after her, but few know about her comrade in arms Vera Danilovna Voloshyna, who fought with Kosmodymianskaya in the same partisan detachment. Vera's feat went unnoticed by historians. About her selflessness and heroism became known only in 1957. The journalist Georgy Frolov together with a group of activists made a historical research and found out the tragic story of young saboteur. Verochka was born in the small mining town of Shcheglovsk, which is now called Kemerovo. The girl lost her father early and was brought up by her mother and stepfather. From an early age she was an active and inquisitive child, did well in school, did athletics, wrote poetry and easily found common ground with her peers. After finishing school, the graduate realized her dream and entered the Moscow State Institute of Physical Education and Sports. It was there, in 1934, she was noticed by sculptor Ivan Shadr and invited to pose for his work Girl with an Oar. At that time Vera was only 15 years old. According to art historians of the time, the monument was too explicit, because the sitter was naked, which was not allowed by the moral standards of the Soviet Union. The sculpture was sent to storage, and later destroyed in a bomb attack in 1941. In the post-war period another artist created a prototype in the Puritan style. The sitter was dressed in a bathing suit, but her facial features remained the same. Voloshyna was predicted a career in sports, but after a serious cold, which gave complications to the legs, from athletics had to give up, respectively, from studying at the Faculty of Physical Education, too. Vera did not give up and found a new hobby: skydiving in the flying club. At the same time she studied at the Trade Institute. From the first days of the war the activist wanted to get on the battlefield, but she was sent to dig trenches for the soldiers. Voloshyna did her best to get to the front and soon she was sent to the Western Front to Reconnaissance Sabotage Unit 9903, commanded by Pavel Provorov. A few days later Zoya Kosmodymianskaya was transferred to the same unit. Vera carried out her first mission of annihilating the enemy on October 21, 1941. As a part of small reconnaissance group at Zavidovo Station Voloshyna destroyed German ammunition warehouse. After successful fulfillment of the task she was 6 times more directed to the enemy rear. In the middle of November a group of Vera and Zoya received a task to destroy settlements which were occupied by Germans. Near the villages of Golovkovo and Yakshino near Moscow our subversives came under fire and were forced to split into 2 detachments. Zoya and Vera never saw each other again. Voloshyna's detachment was ambushed, the guerrilla girl was seriously wounded, fell behind the group and disappeared. As it was found out later the girl was taken prisoner and tortured for several days. On November 29, 1941 Vera was hanged on the road right in front of the village of Golovko, but then she was hung up on a tree because it prevented the passage of German cars. As soon as the enemies left the village, the locals removed the girl's body and buried it in the local cemetery. Eyewitnesses claimed that before her death Vera behaved heroically, singing excerpts of Internationale and talking about a quick victory of the Soviet army. Now Voloshyna's remains were transported and buried in a mass grave in her hometown of Kemerovo, where a museum named after the young scout was opened, where her personal belongings are kept.